What's up, everybody? It's me, Crazy Frankie, and I'd like to welcome you to my Week 10 4 key game picks. A lot of thoughts from week number 9. I probably won't get to every one of them, but I'll do my best. I got to give us going into what happened in week number 9. I got to give a quick shout outs to Denver Broncos coach John Fox and Houston Texans coach Gary Kubiak. John Fox is having open heart surgery this week, and I wish him and his family and through these difficult times, my thoughts and prayers are with him. As well for Gary Kubiak, anybody who saw the Sunday night game between the Texans and the Colts, Gary Kubiak suffered a small stroke, and he's right now he's still under evaluation right now by doctors, and also we don't know when we're going to see him back on the sidelines as the Houston Texans head coach, but my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family during this time. One of the key thoughts from week number 9 was definitely the Chiefs still undefeated. For a team that only won 2 games last year, a team that I don't know if this should be a team to be reckoned with right now, because really they haven't played the Broncos yet, because the Broncos are good. And for KC right now, they're still undefeated. I mean, I got to give this team credit. They're still in first place, but until they play the Broncos, it's going to be interesting to see if they can beat them to remain undefeated. So I can't really be sure or really say that that the Chiefs are contenders here. I'm really not ready to say that yet until they prove they can beat Denver. Aaron Rodgers, how about what happened to him? He injured his collarbone, and I think that was the first quarter of the Monday night game between them and the Bears. That is a huge, and from the latest reports coming out of NFL.com, that he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, and that is a huge blow to the Packers, especially the fact they're already dealing with injuries. And it's really tough to say right now that where the Bear team will go from here and how they will do without their main quarterback here. It's tough to say right now, especially with the Lions if they're playing reasonable football. I mean, the Lions were on a bye week last week, and they're coming out pretty strongly now after the huge win over the Cowboys in week number 8. It's going to be tough to say right now what will happen in that NFC North division, especially with the fact that with a huge win for the Bears that it was on Monday night, and without no Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. I mean, come on, Chicago beat Green Bay without Jay Cutler. I mean, it's tough to say right now in that NFC North division what's going to happen. And if you're talking about Lions and Bears, they do play each other in week number 10. And that it is going to be one of my key games I will get into in just a minute. But more thoughts here. I'm really not going to speculate or say much about Richie Incognito's suspension. He is the Miami Dolphins player that the NFL suspended for him for bullying and another NFL player. I mean, it's really tough to say, and especially the fact that nowadays anybody who's been bullied before, believe it or not, I have. It's not an easy thing to talk about, and it's just unfortunate. A lot of people are like this, but what can I say? I mean, you just can't control these lunatics. Nick Foles, Eagles quarterback, threw 7 touchdowns against the Raiders, which really brought a smile to my face. Anybody who knows me personally or knows I am a huge Raider hater, but sorry guys, I just can't stand the team. But anyways, I don't want to talk trash or anything right now. But Nick Foles, 7 touchdown passes in this game, tying with many NFL players, especially Peyton Manning. He did it in week 1. Against the Ravens. So 2 times this year, and this hasn't happened before, 2 times in 1 year that a quarterback throws 7 touchdown passes. Case Keenum of the Texans. I think after anybody who watched the Sunday night game, well past what happened with Gary Kubiak, he actually played a very, very good game against. I mean, they basically beat up the Colts in the first half of that game, even though their defense ended up giving the Colts the game. Basically, their defense just basically fell apart. But I think I can make a case for Keenum here, because this guy, I think he's really fitting into their. I mean, he fit very well into the Texans' offense system here, and it would not surprise me if he remains starting quarterback for the remainder of the year. I know a lot of Texan fans are not happy with Matt Schaub, but I think you can make a case that Keenum might be the guy. Seattle. I don't know what happened in that game against the Buccaneers for the Seahawks. You got to wonder what's going on with Seattle's offense or defense here. I mean, for goodness sakes, they gave up 21 points in the first half, and they had to come from behind to win in overtime to beat the lowly Buccaneers, a Buccaneers team that hasn't won a game yet, along with Jacksonville. I start to wonder if Seattle really has some flaws somewhere. Especially the fact that, I mean, they got to look out. They got to look out. They got the 49ers. They still have the 49ers on their tail, and the 49ers are getting healthy now. They're expected to have Manningham and I think, especially Vernon Davis and Crabtree. It's tough to say right now what is gonna change the complexion of the NFC West division now. Now, let me make one last point here. The Saints losing to the Jets. I didn't see that one coming, but it seems to me somebody pointed out on NFL.com that for some reason the Jets are winning in odd number weeks. They won week 1, week 3, week 5, week 7, and week 9. How do you explain that? I don't know what's going on here. But the Saints need to look out. If you look what the Carolina Panthers have done, the Panthers right now are a red-hot football team right now. They beat the crap out of the Falcons last week. And the Panthers, no joke, they are one game back of the NFC South division, which personally I thought that this division was wrapped up. But no, I don't know how the Panthers are doing it right now, but they are a red-hot football team. This Saints team right now, I think I better start worrying about Carolina now because this team is red-hot. But anyways, speaking of the Panthers, they're a team I'm going to mention, believe it or not, as one of my key games. Anyways, speaking of the key games, let's get to Week 10, shall we? My first key game, the Lions it's the Bears and the Lions. Now this game isn't done. Now the Lions and the Bears have already played each other, and the Lions beat them in Detroit. But this game now is in Soldier Field. It's in Chicago this week, so it's tough to say right now who has the edge here. It's really an interesting fact of the way the Lions have been playing. I mean, especially they really needed Calvin Johnson. Calvin Johnson was one of the key factors in the last few wins that the Lions have had. I mean, one of their major losses was against the Packers, and that was back, I think, in week 6 or week 7, I think. But yeah, I mean, this gives you something to talk about right now to see what will happen in this game. I mean, especially for a Bears team right now that just barely beat the Packers, even though Aaron Rodgers got hurt in that game. This game, in my opinion, really is a toss-up. There's no question about this game's a toss-up here. Tough to say who comes out of this one a victor. It is. I did write on my blog that it's going to be a 50-50 toss-up here. But I'm going to give a slight edge to the Lions. The Lions are right now actually healthy right now. And it's really tough to say right now for this Bears team, especially if they don't have Jay Cutler for this game. I mean, the Bears they got to wake up here. I mean, really right now, you're dealing with a backup quarterback at the moment right now. And the way the Lions are playing, especially their big win over the Cowboys and all that, I like the Lions in this game. I'm going to go with Detroit here. I think they'll sweep the Bears here. It's no question going to be a close game. It's going to come down to ball control and turnovers, no question about it. But I think the Lions are going to squeak by and edge out a victory over the Bears. I think they're going to sweep. They're going to sweep Chicago in this. I got the Lions over the Bears here. I believe the Lions are going to beat the Bears here. Sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit here. Forgive me on that. Key game number 2, the Bengals and the Ravens. A key divisional matchup here, and Cincinnati, after losing to Miami on a safety last week, you got to wonder how this Bengal team will respond. They seem to respond pretty good after a loss. I mean, they haven't lost consecutive games all year, let alone I think they've only had 2 consecutive wins. That's probably their longest winning streak. But they're in Baltimore this week, and Baltimore's not an easy place to play. The Ravens, no question, they're desperate for a win, and no question this game's another toss-up here. It's tough to say who comes out of this a victor here. I mean, this could go either way. It's tough for me to. I'm juggling here on this pick here, but I'm gonna gamble a little bit here. I'm gonna say the Bengals will come out the victors here, even though they did lose a key player to a season-ending injury. But I think for the Bengals' sake and all that, I know the running game is kind of suffering a little bit here, but. And the Ravens' defense, the Ravens' defense isn't really what it was since Ray Lewis retired. like I said, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think I'm going to gamble a little bit here. I'm going to say the Bengals squeak by a victory in this one. No question this will be a very close game. I mean, Joe Flacco right now has got to play a lot better. I mean, they lost to the Browns last week out of all teams. And really, it's a lot of shakeup right now in that AFC North division. But I'm going to say the Bengals get back on track here. I think the Bengals slightly are a little better. It's no question it's going to be a tough game here, but I like the Bengals here. I think the Bengals win by a field goal. Key game number 3, as I was talking about the Panthers in key points from Week 9, this is one of them here. They got the 49ers this week. They're in San Francisco. No question, another 50-50 toss-up here. With the way the Panthers are playing right now, their defense right now is very much alive here. I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, they're really... This streak that the Panthers are on right now is really one of the hottest in football right now. But while I was making another key point earlier that with the 49ers getting healthy, I don't know if they're going to have their key players back for this game, but the 49ers are coming off a bye. And I mean, many people are calling this an upset alert. I don't think it will be. I think to me that, but no question, this game will be close. It'll be a very, very close game here. I think, like I was mentioning with the first key game between Detroit and Chicago, this is going to come down to ball control and turnovers. Let's see if the 49ers don't have a little bit of a rust factor after playing their game in London, even though they were playing a sorry-ass Jacksonville Jaguars team. But really, right now, you can't underestimate this Panther team right now. They're on a roll. And right now they're trying to keep pace with the Saints right now for the NFC South division. But I think if I look at it from a standpoint here, if the 49ers players do play in this game like Manningham, Crabtree, I mean, if they get them back, I think the 49ers are definitely going to win this game. I think to me they just got too many offensive weaponry right there. I don't think the Panthers defense can match that up if all those wide receivers are healthy. So, but no questions, close game here. I'm going to go with the 49ers here. 49ers barely beat the Panthers here. It'll no doubt be a close game here. And key game number 4, the Cowboys at the Saints. Speaking again of another NFC South team with the Saints and for the Dallas Cowboys right now. I mean, Cowboys with a huge victory over Minnesota. It kind of was a little bit of an escape game. It was actually kind of escaped with the victory. I mean, the Cowboys really, they're not playing that good, in all honesty. I mean, you got Desmond Bryant yelling on the sidelines. You got key injuries. I don't know if Ware's going to be back for this game. I mean, they really need help defensive-wise. But really, right now, you got a Saints team right now, even though they lost to the Jets last week in a huge upset. There's no question they're not going to lose consecutive games here. I can't go against the Saints here, especially at home. They have not lost a home game all year, and I think that streak's going to be alive. I got to go with the Saints here. I just think their offense is just too complete. And the Cowboys right now, they're not playing all that good, in all honesty, even though they are winning their close games and all that. But really right now, especially with the NFC East division terrible this year, I mean, they could still fall out of place and not make the playoffs. So, but speaking of this game, I just think the Saints have too much offense right here. I think it's going to be enough to beat the Cowboys. No question. I mean, all these key games I have here, they're all going to be close games. No question about it. I don't see any of my key games here being blowouts here. This is going to be very, very close here. But I like the Saints in this one. I'm not going to go against them at home. That's it, everybody. That's it for my Week 10 4 key game picks. Check out crazyfrankie56.blogspot.com for all of my Week number 10 picks. And until then, have a great football Sunday and enjoy this Veterans Day weekend as we honor all the men and women in the uniform, especially those who are especially to all those who served in the military and all. God bless you guys, and let's fight to not forget these people, because these are the people that defend our country. Let's show them our love and care, because these people right now, these veterans and all that, they cannot be all forgotten here. But anyways, like I said, enjoy your weekend, everybody, and I will see you next week. Take care.